Coffee, nectar of the gods. Or at least it should be, if Ajax had any say in the matter, which he clearly didn't. Strike me down for that, why don't you? He challenged with a glance at the granite sky overhead. Come on, and fight me. No arrows or lightning bolts scorched the sidewalk cafe, and slowly Jax lowered his gaze. Too bad, he thought with a dark laugh, sipping his coffee. Quite the cure when you are nursing a pounding hangover. Sure, it was a taste that he'd acquired in modern times, this era of coffee shops and triple mocha everything, but he didn't mind being modern on occasion. In fact, he relished it, much to his brother's chagrin. He'd lumbered in heavy armor, worn a cravat when fashion had required it, had even donned a kilt for about a century. So drinking a bit of woman's coffee hardly qualified him as an imposter, he rationalized, and took another sip. You have to live in the era in which you find yourself. It was his #1 rule, and so far it hadn't misled him on his winding passage through the corridors of time. The King's Road bustled, shoppers from nearby Sloane Square hurrying home, with countless others making their way back toward the tube. He registered the foot traffic, the creeping chill of twilight that was so common for London in mid-April, the throngs pulsing and pushing their way past his table. And he noted every detail, without once glancing up from his coffee of the Evening Standard. No independent for him. He remained a simple man to the core. It didn't matter if his well-heeled feet now walked hard pavement, and not the ancient fields of ancient Greece. Scanning the paper's headlines, he could hardly focus. There was too much noise coming at him, an overload of sensory detail in every direction. And it wasn't the usual human clamor, like car horns or rap music. No, it was the mental din that hounded Jax year after year, century after century, growing louder every day. Lately he'd been choking on it, nearly drowning beneath the mental voices of London's entire population. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Callias. Jax rolled his eyes as his big brother slid into the seat beside him. No invitation was ever necessary for the hulking warrior. He just took what he wanted and possessed every inch of land he walked or occupied. You don't know jack about what troubles me, Ajax answered coolly, his clipped British accent sounding particularly nasty. One good reason for having affected it during this recent London venture. I know that you've got a job to do, brother. Callias's own accent remained unchanged, despite almost a century in the British Isles, as ancient and authentic as the Greek blood that pulsed through his veins. I know my place, and I do my work. Ajax gazed up at his eldest brother with a cutting glare. It was like staring into a mirror. The olive skin, the long aquiline nose, the black hair. Except Callias wore his own hair buzzed short, military style, while Jax kept his long and loose, free, as he had in the olden days. Callias gestured toward the half-consumed cappuccino. It's 5 o'clock. Surprised to see that's not Scotch you're drinking. I only woke up an hour ago, Ajax replied, taking another lazy sip. Even I have my standards. His brother leaned closer. So the only code you're still clinging to pertains to the satisfaction of your basest desires? Very commendable, Jax.